This conference will now be recorded.
So, hi all, good morning. So, yeah, this is the introduction for entire front-end development course. So, yeah, so let's get started. So, before we proceed forward, I just want to give one little small point here, and that point is, as a part of this particular course, you guys will start with learning HTML, CSS. When I say learning HTML and CSS, you learn the both. You learn the latest versions. So yeah, HTML, CSS will, latest versions will be taught, and then we move on to the JavaScript. Okay, and latest version of JavaScript. Okay, which is ES8 and ES9. You'll also learn the latest version of JavaScript with all the latest features. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you will also learn the TypeScript. So TypeScript is also another different language, but it's almost like JavaScript. Why? Because TypeScript will be compiled down to JavaScript. So if you have good JavaScript foundation, then it will be very easy for you to upgrade yourself to learn TypeScript. So yeah, this is where these are the two programming languages which you will learn as a part of this particular course. So after learning JavaScript and after learning TypeScript, it's time to learn two different platforms for which are used by any front-end developer. Okay, one is Angular and one is React. So Angular is like one big platform where you can create any complex front-end application. That could be anything. Okay, for example, our Indian Railway ticket booking system was entirely developed on Angular, and almost 600 websites of Google. Google has a lot of products, right? So almost 600 applications from Google were entirely developed on Angular. So Angular is very complex one, and it provides a very wide architecture for any front-end developer to develop a small scale application or a middle scale or entirely a large scale application. So yeah, and the entire Angular is totally written on TypeScript. So that is the reason TypeScript is must for anyone who is gonna get their hands dirty with Angular. So that is first thing. And second thing, yeah, after learning Angular, we will also learn React. So React is also another widely used library. Of course, it is too widely used such that it is much more used than Angular and other libraries. So there is no comparison between Angular and React. React is the topmost library in every city, be it London, be it Bangalore, be it Hyderabad, or be it Tokyo. Most of the developers from different places, they use React a lot. So when it comes to front end development, React is a go-to library. So yeah, and React is widely used by a lot of companies. So it was given to us by Facebook and other lot of developers. So yeah, guys, so with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, Angular, React, and these are the 5 or 6 different things which you learn as a part of this entire course. Okay, so this is a little introduction. So before, so since this is a demo, since this is a demo kind of thing, you should know only you should I mean since in this demo you should know, you should know two things. First thing is how good I can teach, and next thing is what I will teach and how it will happen, whether it will happen like a normal class or whether it will happen like a real time. And in this demo you should know whether you can understand what I teach or not. So let me demonstrate a simple thing which will give you clarity on these three things. Okay, what you will learn, how that thing will be learned, and how I will teach that thing. Okay, so for that particular thing, what I'm gonna do is, let me create one simple Angular application. Okay, right now I'm not gonna explain anything. Why? Because I just want to show what I can do, and I just want to show how you can learn from me. Okay, that's all. So I'm not gonna explain anything, but you know what? I'll try to explain few things what I'm doing. Okay, since it is not a class, since it is just a demo, just focus. Okay, yeah, that's all. So what I'm gonna do here is let me open my terminal. So yeah, I'm directly jumping into Angular. Why? Because yeah, Angular is a very complex application. Okay, it has a very wide architecture. So I just want to show that yeah, I mean what Angular looks like, and let's crack one requirement in Angular. Okay, so yeah, let me create one particular project here. So yeah, let's say project -1. Okay, so the point here is yeah, if you take a look here, I used one command, okay, which is called ng, and that command was not found. Perhaps I didn't install that particular tool. Okay, so let me check whether I have node or not. Okay, so node is also not there. Cool. Give me a second. Let me try in different terminal. So yeah, node is there. I think okay, Angular is not there. So let me install it. So take a look, guys. So how to get started with Angular? So Angular is a very wide platform. I mean, very big platform. So when I say platform, what actually is a platform? Platform has a lot of libraries. Okay, libraries means what? Libraries are nothing but code. Okay, packages of code. So different packages of code which solves different purposes. You can call them as the libraries. So bringing those 100 libraries together, okay, to make one thing possible. So yeah, that is called platform. So what I will do is I'll just uh, type Angular CLI. So Angular is a platform. It has a lot of libraries. So it's not like you can create one simple file and you can get started. It will not work like that. Why? Because it has a lot of libraries, and these lot of libraries should work in order, and developer also should work with them in order. So you need one tool, okay, which to get started, and that tool is Angular CLI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this Angular CLI, and then I'm going to install this thing. I'm going to copy this command. Okay, I'm going to install Angular CLI. So yeah, and one more thing, guys. Meanwhile, when I'm teaching or when I'm doing something, you guys can literally interrupt me in the middle and ask me something. Okay, so that's not a big thing. You can stop me anywhere and you can ask me what I'm doing. Yeah. So take a look, guys. I'm installing Angular CLI right now. So let me show you the command. Okay, the command is npm, and I'm asking npm to install. Okay, what I'm asking to install, I'm asking to install Angular CLI, and then I'm saying it install it globally. So what is npm? So npm is a package manager. Okay, PM. Okay, so Node package manager. So it's a package manager which belongs to the Node platform. And what is a Node platform? Node is a platform which is totally dedicated to particular JavaScript language. Okay. The point here is, the point here is before Node. Okay. Just give me a second. Yeah, someone has said why we need Angular CLI. Is it mandatory to install Angular CLI? Cool. Yes. Okay. Let me explain these two things. Before that, I'm explaining about Node, right? So give me a second. Yeah, I'm talking about Node, right? Yeah. So take a look, guys. Before Node, okay, people are working with JavaScript, Java jQuery, and they're creating HTML, CSS. And when someone clicks on button, they're taking the information, submitting to the server. Okay, all these things. Okay, taking information, submitting to the server, listening to the click event on the particular button. All these things are being controlled by JavaScript. You got my point. So before Node, okay, what the scenario here is Okay, all these things are being controlled by the JavaScript. What are those things? All the website related things. Okay, giving the data in the forms, clicking the buttons, taking the data, submitting to the server, and bringing the data from the server and showing to the user. Okay, all the web application related things are happening with the JavaScript. So before Node, okay, there is only one thing which can understand JavaScript, and that thing is your browser. Okay, so in whole entire computer ecosystem, okay, is there anything which can totally understand JavaScript and which can totally give response to the JavaScript code? Means only browser can do that. Okay, that is the scenario before Node. After Node, what happened here is, apart from browser, okay, even a server can understand JavaScript right now. Okay, even an IoT thing can understand a JavaScript right now. Even a mobile OS can understand JavaScript right now. Okay, how that thing is happening? Any machine can understand JavaScript right now. Before that, no machine is ready to understand JavaScript. Okay, no processor is ready to understand JavaScript. Okay, only one software, only one tool is ready to understand JavaScript, that is browser. But with the inception of Node, okay, almost every computer device is ready to understand JavaScript. So what is Node? Yeah, Node is it's like a compiler. Okay, it will take the JavaScript code, okay, and it will make your machine understand the JavaScript code. So Node is very important. Why? Because front-end developers, okay, I mean, for their front-end development purpose, they will not only depend on the browser, they will also depend on the machine, they will also depend on the server. So their JavaScript should also sometimes do machine related, server related things. So that's the reason Node comes into the picture here, and Node takes your JavaScript and uses your machine for JavaScript instructions. Okay, so Node is that particular translator between you and your machine. You give JavaScript, Node will take the JavaScript and make the machine work based on your JavaScript instructions. So Node is very important, and Npm is related to the Node. So Node package manager is nothing but, Node is nothing but, it's almost like a JavaScript compiler, JavaScript translator. Okay, so Npm Node package manager. So package in the sense libraries, okay, all the JavaScript libraries, JavaScript things. So yeah, you're asking Npm to install Angular CLI, okay, and you're asking it to install globally. Cool. Why we need Angular CLI, and is it mandatory to install Angular CLI? Okay. So this guy is asking why we need Angular CLI. The point here is, as I said just now, Angular is not a simple library like jQuery. You know, right? jQuery, it's a very lightweight library. You can plug it. Okay, you can have one index.html, and you can bring that library and you can start using it. Angular is not like that. Angular is a collection of some hundreds of such libraries. You got my point. That is one thing. Okay. Second thing, Angular is not a single library, it's a collection of multiple libraries. That's the reason I call Angular as a platform. Okay, if you can see here, it's the modern web developers platform. Nowhere it is saying a library. Okay, or nowhere it is saying a plugin, a small plugin. No, it's not like, it's not a small slider plugin or small animated plugin. It's a very big platform. Okay, so that is one point. That is one point. Second point here is, the entire Angular, okay, is written in TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript is very new to the browser. Okay, your browser cannot understand TypeScript. Okay, this browser, be it Chrome, be it Mozilla, be it Edge, or be it Safari. Okay, your browser is nowhere designed to understand TypeScript. Okay, not only your browser, any machine is not ready to understand TypeScript until and unless you install necessary tools. You got it right. So first thing, Angular is a collection of lot of libraries, so it's a platform. Second thing, the way Angular is written, the programming language which is used in Angular, okay, or which is used to develop Angular and which is used to use Angular, is totally different. So these are the two things. So you need one tool, okay, to organize all these things together and to make a developer to get started. And that tool is Angular CLI. Without that tool, okay, what you have to do is you have to install all the compilers on your own, okay, and all the other libraries on your own, and you have to get started with Angular project, okay. And the same job is being done by Angular CLI. It will install all the necessary tools for you, all the TypeScript compilers for you, and it will give you a starting point. You got my point. Now you can literally proceed forward from that particular starting point and start using Angular. So if you don't want that starting point, you have to create all your own project setup from the scratch, okay, and then you have to move forward. So that's the thing, guys. Without Angular CLI, any developer can literally survive. That's not a big thing. But you know what? He has to install TypeScript. He has to config that thing. He has to install some other bundlers, and he has to config them. So he has to do a lot of setup work. Okay, so that is the reason Angular CLI is very important. Why? Because it will do that job for you. Okay, that job is just a small automated job. Okay, and that job is what not like it's always different. It's all like it's like almost same for any Angular project. So why cannot we automate it? So that the same thing is being done by Angular CLI. It will do the stuff, and it will you can move forward from there. Okay, so seems like you got it. Exactly. Everything is handled Angular CLI. Okay, everything is handled by Angular CLI. Yeah, of course. Almost all the Angular related things, compilation from TypeScript to JavaScript, bringing all the libraries together, everything is handled by Angular CLI. Building, running, creating a server, of course. Yeah, we will see it right now. Okay, let me install it. Yeah, it will take little time, and meanwhile, you can drop few questions here. Okay, it's asking me little permission here, so let me give the permission. Okay, now here comes the another important point. If at all, if you have to install Angular CLI, what should you do? Simple, just go to your Chrome, type Node.js. Okay, so let's say Node.js. Okay, now of course you know what link to click, right? Don't click the add links. Just go for the first link, which is not an ad. Okay, so yeah, you can download anything here. Download for Windows, download for Linux, or download for Unix. Doesn't matter. Always make sure you download the latest stable version, not the current one. Okay, so download the latest stable version. So in most operating systems, it's just like clicking next, 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 and install. So that will not be a big thing. That is fine. Once Node is installed, what you have to do is you have to open a terminal, okay, a command prompt when it comes to Windows. Okay, so you can open a command prompt, right? In a search, you can type command prompt and you can see that particular application. Click on it, and once you click on it, okay, you will get, once again, huh, Google's privacy policy. Let's say no. Okay, cool. Our Angular is installed, which is fine. So let me check it right now. Okay, so it is saying, yeah, added 238 packages from 181 different sources, core contributors, fine. So now let me check it whether Angular CLI is perfectly installed or not. So to check whether Angular CLI is perfectly installed or not, what I will do is, okay, I mean, imagine you install Java right now in your machine. And to check whether Java is perfectly installed or not, what you will do, you'll just go to your command line and you'll say Java. Okay, then you will say version. Okay, okay, leave it. Okay, so right now I got a response, no Java runtime present, requesting install. So yeah, it gives some information for you. So by that you can know whether the Java is installed or not. In the same way, if you install Node and after successful installation of Node, you have to verify it whether that thing installed in a good way or not. I mean, whether it is present or not. So what you will do, you will call the node with the node command, and then you will supply one flag here. okay, any command, okay, which starts with hyphen hyphen. Okay, just take a look. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me clear everything. Yeah, any command, any terminal command which will start with hyphen hyphen, this is called, okay, a flag. So node is your actual command, and then you're supplying one particular flag. Okay, so now it gave what? It gave one particular answer to me, and that answer is the number of the node version, which means node is perfectly installed. So this is how you have to check it. Okay, even in your Linux or even your Windows, once you install node with the what, next, 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 and install, and then what you do is close everything and then open the terminal, close all the terminals or close all the command prompts, open the command prompt, and then what, type this particular command node and ask version. Okay, or you can ask node to help, so it will give a lot of things. If it doesn't give this thing, okay, and if it says command not found or something wrong, then perhaps you didn't install it in a proper way. Either you have to restart it or you have to install it again. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. Now let me check whether did I whether did I install Angular CLI perfectly or not. ng is nothing but I'm calling Angular CLI. So when I say ng, your machine understands that, okay, this guy gonna call Angular CLI. Angular CLI is a tool which I just installed, right? So let me give version number here. Yeah, take a look. It gave me a good amount of information. Angular CLI, so right now Angular 11, CLI 11. So if you see here, Angular core libraries of 11. Okay, yeah, a lot of things are of 11. So what is the version which you're going to learn? Of course, the latest version. Okay, cool. Which is nothing but the 11. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'm going to install Angular right now, Angular project right now. I'm going to create one Angular project right now. So let me create one directory right now. So yeah, okay, dir. Let's say let's this directory. Okay. So I created one directory, guys. So I created one directory called, I created one folder called tutz. So let me go into it. Okay. So right now I'm in tutz folder. So here, okay, I will create my Angular project. So ng new, let's say morning app. Okay. This is the project. This is, so take a look. I'm calling my Angular CLI. Ng is nothing but Angular CLI. So when you give ng, your machine will understand this guy is calling Angular CLI. And then I'm giving a command new. Okay, now Angular CLI will understand that, okay, I have to create something new right now. And then you're giving some data here. That data could be anything. But do you know what? That data will be act like a name of your project. Okay, so will act like a name of your project. So make sure you're giving something which makes sense. So let's say morning app. Okay, I think this is fine, right? So I'm just I did just press enter. So it is asking me few things. Type checking, stricter bundle suggests. Okay, say yes, doesn't matter. Would you like to add Angular routing? No, I just want the basic stuff right now. Okay, I just want to use CSS. Cool. Yeah, that's all. It will install few things. If you see here, all these files it has created. Otherwise, you have to create it on your own. You got it right. So all these files it has created in one particular order. Okay, and it will install all the necessary libraries. Okay, which we call dependencies. All the necessary libraries, TypeScript config stuff, everything it will do on its own. So without Angular CLI, you have to do all these things on this own. So that is the thing, guys. Yeah, it is taking too much time. You can ask me a few questions right now. Let's choose one little UI and let's try to crack that thing. Okay, with Angular. Okay, in Angular. It's still installing, but let it take its time.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, could you please explain how I think browser will understand only JavaScript, right?
Yeah,
TypeScript is not understand because TypeScript also converted in JavaScript. Is it correct?
yeah, exactly. That's the reason every Angular project has TypeScript compiler in it.
Okay. But why we are
So what I
running
did, right?
entire Angular code in Node.js? Because of you are saying something right earlier.
Yeah, yeah, continue. You please continue. Yeah,
I mean, actually we are using Node.js, right?
yeah, we are also using Node.js. Yeah,
Because of running the entire application in Node.js.
yeah, exactly.
For what purpose we need to run the application in Node.js?
Okay, I'll say it to you right now. Okay, take a look. Now, seems like just give me a second. Your doubt will be cleared within next 10 to 15 seconds. Now, this is one basic Angular application which got created. So I'm already in TUTZ folder right now. Okay. So ls, if I say ls, yeah, it's just like list. Okay, show the list of subfolders. So I have my project, my Angular project as this folder, okay, subfolder, and of course it has a lot of files. Okay, so let me go into my project right now. Okay, morning app is my project. Okay, in case if you are using uh, Windows command prompt, instead of saying ls, you use dir. Okay, directory list. So then it will give the list of all the directories, which are nothing but folders. Okay, cool. Now I'm already in my Angular app project, right? I'm already in my Angular project, right? So let me clear everything. Okay, so it's clean slate right now. Now let me use list commands. So you can see here, there is one readme.md, node modules, tsconfig, typescript config, app.json, angular json. So here we have all the Angular config and TypeScript config, package log, tsconfig, end-to-end tests, package.json, okay, spec.json. Okay, this is for testing. So, and karma configure.json, and then source and tslint.json. So we have all these files created, and most of these files are config related files. Okay, configuration for the development, configuration for the testing. Okay, now someone has just why we need Node, okay, to develop Angular. First thing, guys, okay, as I said, no matter it is Angular, no matter it is TypeScript, the point here is, let me explain in this way. Anything if you want to do work on front end, okay, any library which you want to work on front end, it is very easy, okay, if you work with what package managers. Okay, package managers are there to get the library, to remove the library, to update the library. Okay, as a front-end developer, you will work on a lot of libraries, right? You will work on Angular platform, you'll work on React, you'll work on some other small slider library, or you'll work on one data grid, or you'll work on any HTTP client. So as a front-end developer, okay, you will not just like create one folder, create one index.html, then start writing some HTML, then bring one small plugin, put in script DAG. You will not do like that, right? You will do with what? As a standard project. So you need one package manager to do to bring the libraries or to remove the libraries or to update the libraries or to downgrade the libraries. So that package manager will come when you install Node. Okay, so why you need Node? In the sense, to make your job easy, you need Node. Even though you're a front-end developer, Okay, if you install Node, yeah, your job will be a little bit easy. But okay, node purpose is not that. A node purpose is what? To make your machine understand JavaScript. Now, the actual point why we should use node in an Angular is, now let me run my Angular application. Okay, ng serve. Okay, so I'm asking my Angular CLI to take this command. Now what Angular CLI will do? Okay, this guy wants me to run this particular project. Okay, so it is taking some time. Seems like it is okay. Yeah, it is doing its job. Now it started working. Let's see. Okay, somewhere here, okay, it is saying Angular live development server is listening on localhost this particular port 4200. Open your browser on this particular URL. You got my point. Now let me open this thing. Copy this thing, go here, paste it. So you got this particular, this is your Angular application. Yeah, you got some this basic layout stuff, some little content, doesn't matter. Okay, now the point here is, if you see here, this is running at one particular port. It means who is running this thing? One particular server is running that thing. Now wait 1 second, wait 1 second. Who created that server? Is that server created by Java or by Golang or by C or by I mean Rust or by what, .NET or what? No, we are nowhere using such big platforms. We are using only one node platform. So this server is created by Node and Node is running that particular server. So in Angular development, yes, you need Node. Why? Because to run your application in one particular server, you need Node. Okay, so Node is essential, okay, to run your Angular application. Why? Because it will run at one particular port. Now you can replace Node and you can put another server. Okay, that server could be made up of Java or .NET. People do that. There are different projects. Okay, there are different projects which does that also. Okay, I have seen few Angular projects which are running on .NET server. Okay, yes, latest Angular projects. So but yeah, that point is, yeah, if you are very good at that particular platform, I mean Java or .NET or any other platform, now you can literally work towards integrating your Angular CLI on that particular platform and making that particular platform run at particular port. Okay, I mean run like a server. So that's the point, guys. So why Node is used? Yeah, just to run this particular application in a server. Okay, so we have a Node server and it is running at this particular port. Okay, so I think I'm clear, right? Hello.
Clear, I'm clear. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got it.
just to run in a server. That's all for Angular.
Yeah.
But Node is completely different for other purposes. I mean, it has completely different purpose. Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, let me open this particular project. Okay, so let me open my yeah, guys, I'm using VS Code. Okay, so let me show that code editor to you. You can also download this thing. Okay, so it's just a lightweight code editor. I'm using the same code editor here. Okay, so yeah, open folder, so desktop. Yeah, and morning app is my folder. Fine, right? So this is my project. I'm opening it. Okay, so what I will do is, yeah, I will delete the entire stuff. I don't want all these things. Okay, what are there in app right now? module and all the other stuff, right? Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete entire thing right now. So I'll slowly move forward. When I delete it, nothing happened. So let me rerun my application right now. Rerun my Angular application. Okay, yeah. Seems like it is throwing one error. Cannot find one particular module. Okay. So yeah, let's see it. Since we have just deleted few important stuff, so it is throwing one error. So let me find it right now. So yeah. So the point here is every Angular application, no matter what the folder structure is, no matter what the folder config is, you just blindly go to the source folder. Why? Because any project, okay, I mean, you see any project from any language or any platform, if you see source, okay, that will be the library which developer work with. I mean, which will be, I mean, that is the library developer usually works with. Okay, so if anytime whenever someone sees source, okay, just go into it and just what, start searching the files, start searching the folders. Why? Because that is where developer work. Okay, all other libraries are somewhat what, other purposes, secondary purposes. To write code, okay, just go into source. So in the same way, your Angular project also has source folder. So I'm sure, yeah, let's go into it. Okay, and here I have assets folder. There is nothing in it. Environments, nothing in it. Okay, I mean, of course few files, but that's fine. Favicon doesn't matter right now. Okay, and then in source I have index.html. Now this is pretty cool. Okay, but do you know what, I don't want to control this index.html. I'll just close it. Then I have polyfills, main.ts. Okay, cool. So if I open main.ts, okay, here it is saying, okay, something is wrong. Okay, if you see here, cannot find this particular module. Okay, so let me remove this thing. Okay, okay, and when I remove that particular line, it is throwing that, okay, there is no module here. Okay, so yeah, let's try to do this stuff right now. So I'm directly jumping into get this thing started. Okay, and in that process, yeah, I will try to teach these things, but actually in the class everything will happen a little bit what, with more intense and a little bit with more depth. Okay, so right now guys, the point here is yeah, Angular is entirely written in TypeScript. So in TypeScript, the best way to organize your code is writing a lot of classes and putting your code in that particular classes. Now, what is a class and what are those things? We will see later. This is just a demo. So what I will do is, okay, right now, let me create one particular folder. So I'm going to call this folder as a root. Cool. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is in this root folder, okay, I'm going to create root dot module dot ts. Okay, I created one TypeScript file here. Now let me create one class here, and that class will have the same name of this particular file. Okay, now let me make this class. This is a class. I can create a lot of classes here. Let's say copy, paste. So root module 1 here, 2 here, doesn't matter. Okay, but the point here is there are a lot of classes, but I want Angular to consider only this class as a module. So that is the reason what I will do is I will import a function. Okay, from where I will import from Angular core library. Okay, now what is that function? Okay, that function is ng module. Okay, this is just normal. This is not a normal function, but do you know what this is? Yeah, this is not a normal function. Okay, why? Because normal function you can simply call it. Of course, it is still a normal function, but at the same time, okay, it has one decorator. Okay, so this normal function is not only a normal function, but it is also a decorator. Now, what is a decorator? Decorator is a concept which is introduced in recent versions of JavaScript. And TypeScript, what TypeScript is like one, TypeScript is like one that particular guy. If any guy has one recent item, this guy will take it. So in the same way, TypeScript is also that programming language which took all the recent concepts from the JavaScript. So TypeScript has JavaScript in it. Okay, so what actually is a TypeScript? TypeScript is JavaScript. Okay, let me write one comment here. Okay, TypeScript is equals to JavaScript plus its own features. Okay, so TypeScript has JavaScript in it. So if you know JavaScript, okay, then you can write TypeScript code. But if you want to write actual TypeScript code, yeah, you have to learn TypeScript's own features. Okay, now ng module is also a feature from latest JavaScript, and of course TypeScript will what it will do, it will just take it. Let's start using it. So I'm sorry here. Yeah, ng module is a decorator, and decorator is the latest feature of the JavaScript. Since all the latest features of JavaScript, okay, are also being implemented in TypeScript, so this one is also is also part of TypeScript. So decorators are also part of TypeScript. Okay, that is fine. So right now, what I did is I made this class. Okay, what happened here? It is throwing one error, but never used. That's fine. Okay, let's export this class right now. Cool. Okay. Now let me do one thing here. Okay, what I'm explaining, why I use this particular thing. Okay, why I cannot keep like this. Okay, the point here is I'm using this particular thing. Why? The point here is I want my Angular to consider this particular class. There are a lot of classes. Okay, there are 3 classes here. Now this class can be also a module, this class can be also a module, this class can be also a module. Okay, but I want my Angular don't consider all these classes. Okay, here I'm decorating this particular class with one particular decorator. Okay, and that decorator is what? Ng module. Okay, now please consider only this class as a module. So now what Angular will do? Okay, it will just ignore these classes, and it will what? It will, okay, every time when it comes across ng module, it will immediately search for the next class which is under it. And of course, under ng module you have a class here. So what it will think? Okay, this class must be the module. Okay, why? Because this developer has intentionally put this particular class under this particular decorator. So that's the reason this class should be a module. Now Angular will understand that, okay, this is a module. If I remove this thing and if I put this thing here, now immediately under it there are spaces. Okay, this is a space, right? This is also a space, right? Okay, immediately under decorator there are spaces. So what Angular will do? Angular will ignore the spaces. Okay, and after ignoring, is there any class immediately under it? Of course, and that class is root module 1. Now root module 1 has become the, give me a second, what has just happened? Okay, now root module 1 has become the module. Okay, now Angular will consider this particular class as a module. Okay, if I remove this thing, it will consider this particular class as a module. So basically any class which is immediately under the decorator, and that decorator here is ng module, that class will be considered as a module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class here, class root module. Perfect. Now this is my root module. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, yeah, this root module. So I mean, this is my class, and of course Angular is learning that this class is a module, and it is learning because of this particular decorator. Now what I will do, I will send some configuration stuff, configuration details to my root module class. Okay, why? Because it has just become a module, right? Okay, because of this particular decorator. So whenever any class becomes a module in Angular, that class will get some responsibility. Okay, and that responsibility should be defined by a developer. So let me define that stuff. Why we should define that thing and why we should not, we'll see that thing in actual Angular class. So this is just a demo. Just try to understand whether I can teach Angular or not, okay, and whether you can understand my teaching or not. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna send some config stuff here. Okay, so config for this particular module. So let me send that thing here itself. Okay, first thing, every module, okay, should have a declarations array and should also have a bootstrap array, okay, and should also have imports array. Perfect, fine. So I'm sending declarations here, okay. I define declarations, imports, and bootstrap. All these are arrays. And now what are arrays? You will learn in JavaScript and TypeScript things right now. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is, let me import another module. Let's say import okay, from Angular platform browser. What is that module? Browser module. Okay, let me get that module. Okay, and let me supply this module to my root module. So if you see here, a module can take another module. Okay, yeah. Now root module is taking browser module. How it is taking? Yeah, here in the configuration, I'm configuring all this stuff. If I put any module in the imports, okay, now let me put some other module. Let me put reactive forms module. Sorry, that forms module will not be available in this library. So let me write that particular library here. Okay, and that library name is Angular/forms. Okay, let me go back and let me write reactive forms module. Okay, now this is a module. Now I want my root module to take this module, to use this particular module. So what I will do, should I put in declarations? No. Imports is a place where you supply all the modules. If you see here, there's a clear definition. The set of modules whose exported declarables are available for templates in this module. Okay. So the point here is, if this module, okay, if your module want to use any other module, just put them in imports array. That's all. Okay. So copy this thing and put it here. Fine. Now later this module can use these modules. Okay. Fine. So I supplied one important module, which is browser. Reactive forms module is not that important. Why? Because this is important when you deal with forms, when huge forms, okay, huge data collection interfaces, data collecting interfaces. Okay. So right now it is not necessary, but you know what? Just for example, I have put it here. Yeah. Now another important thing is, let me export this class. Every module should also have a component. Okay, of course this module has a browser module, that is fine. Now this module doesn't have a component, so let me create a component. So here in root, I'm going to create one more ts, root.component.ts. Perfect. Okay, now in Angular everything is a class, even the component is also a class. So class root component. Fine. Now this is just a class. Now there can be a lot of classes, just like a lot of modules, there can be a lot of classes. Now how can I make my Angular understand that, okay, this class is a component? How can I do that? Okay, how I'm making my Angular understand that this class is a module? How I'm doing that thing? With the help of this particular decorator. In the same way, just bring one decorator and apply that decorator on the class which you want that class to be a component. Okay, so let me choose this particular class and I want this class to be a component. So let's bring the decorator. And what is the decorator? Okay, let me bring it from Angular core library. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, guys. Okay, though I'm skipping everything fast since it's a demo, you can ask me. Yeah. Now should I bring ng module decorator? No. Okay, why? Because ng module is used is used only the classes which has to be considered as the modules. Now, this is not a module. This is, I want this to be a component. So at that time, there's a simple decorator called component. Okay, bring that the decorator. It's a function, right? So call it, and it's not a function, but it's also what, a decorator function, right? So decorate it. Okay, and send the config. Cool. Fine. We are sending the config here. And what has to be the config? Okay, selector. So let's say root component. Let's say, yeah, root. You can literally give anything here. Doesn't matter. It's a string. It's a value. It's just a string value, right? Okay, this is an integer. This is a float. Okay, this is a boolean. But you know what? You have to supply a string here. So yeah, root component. Okay. Now this is a component, right? Component should have some template. Okay. So to make it have some template, let me create one HTML file here. root.component.html. Okay. And let me write one h1 here and then say, okay, the most usual word. Okay. Cool. I have my HTML right here. Cool. Now what I'm going to do, let me supply that HTML here. How I'm going to supply it? Yeah, in the same config, I'm going to supply template URL property, and then I will give the path to my template as an address here. So in the same folder /, just go and find this file root.component.html. Perfect. It will find it. Totally cool. So your component is ready. Your component has a selector, and of course it has a template too. Okay, just export this particular component. Okay, export this class. Cool. Okay, let's go to root module, and now let's import the component here. So import root, oh god, yeah, root component from where? From /, yeah, in the same folder. When you say /, it means it will check in the same folder. Okay, you got root.component.ts. Actually the file name is root.component.ts, but do you know what, your JavaScript or your TypeScript will ignore the file extension though, so there is no need to say .ts. Okay, just no need to say file extension, just leave it. Okay, take the component, put it here. Okay, now, yeah, now take a look. You supplied one component to your module. So you first of all, you supplied a simple module to your module, and then you supplied your simple component to your module. So all the component will be put in declarations array, and all the modules will be put in what? In imports array. Okay, now I want this component to be the root component, so I will take this thing, I'll put it in bootstrap. Okay, cool, fine. Now it is still throwing an error. I don't know why this thing is throwing an error. So this is just a stupid error. It is saying that experimental support for decorators is a feature that is subject to change in future release. Okay, the point here is decorators are the new features and they are experimental features. Experimental features in the sense, the people who are giving these new features, that entire group, okay, they give these new features, and if front-end developers or anyone who is using JavaScript or TypeScript, if they are okay with it, yeah, they will continue this feature. Otherwise, they will remove this feature. So this feature is not that particular stable. That's the reason it is throwing an error. Okay, but you know what? Yeah, this feature is still. This is how Angular should be written. This is how decorator should be done. So this feature is literally important for a Angular developer. So there is no way we are gonna not use decorators. We are gonna use decorators. So let's ignore this error. Okay, I have my root module here. Fine, it has a perfect config. It has a component, it has a module, and then it has a root component. Cool. Now let me go back to my entry point to my Angular and let me import my root module. Yeah. So, and let me I'm importing the root module. You will know all the syntax, guys, why this import is used, everything is used. Okay, I'm just okay doing all the things as part of demo right now. Yeah, let me go to root folder, and then there's no root component. There's only root component. Why there is no root module? Let me check it. In main.ts, go to root and then root.module.ts and save it. Okay, root.module.ts, you're saving it. Fine. What happened? Okay, dot slash. Okay, go to root/root.module. Yeah, cool. You're importing it. So though it didn't show here, okay, I just wrote it and it didn't show any error right now. Cool, right? Now copy the root module and put it here. Okay, cool. Now let's check it. Seems like our errors has gone and compiled successfully. So let's check our Angular application. Where is our application? Localhost 4200. Okay, so there are few errors. So that's the reason, yeah, we didn't see this thing. Yeah, another important error. The selector root component did not match any elements. Perfect. So let's go to our root component, and this is our selector. Since this is the selector of our main component, why? Because this is the root component, right? This is the component which is going to be part of your web page as a first component. Okay, before all components, this component will go into your web page. So this will be the first one which will be embedded into your web page. So copy this selector and then immediately rush to index.html and then clean your body here. Okay, now what are all these tags? What are all these HTML tags? Yeah, you will learn in HTML class. So yeah, let me say root. What is the selector name? Root component, right? Root component. And then let me use tab here. So I used my selector as a custom HTML tag. Custom means user defined. Okay, now I think it is fine. So I got the hello world. Okay, so yeah, guys. So yeah, so somehow I'm able to get started with what all this stuff. Yeah, give me a second. Cool. Okay, so what I will do is okay, I will start working on this particular UI right now. So what I will do is I'll just focus on this particular part. It's already 9 o'clock. So what I will do is I'll just focus on 1, 2. Okay, let me focus on the upper part apart from this menu bar and apart from this sidebar, or let me focus on sidebar and let me go for navbar. Doesn't matter. Let me choose the easiest one right now. Okay, cool. Let me choose the nav and let me choose the side nav. So you have one header here, right? Like a main menu bar, okay, which you can see the white strip here, top white strip, and then you can see one vertical standing strip here on the side. So this is sidebar, right? So let's create that UI. Okay. So let me go back to root component.ts. So let me close all files. So you will see some CSS stuff right now. So you will also know whether I know CSS or not, and you will also know whether I can teach CSS or not. So it's a good thing. So let me open HTML, remove this thing. Okay, so before approaching any layout, what a developer has to do is he has to start dividing those layouts. Okay, let me assume there is one big, okay, a frame here around all these things. So in that frame, okay, this is one particular small strip and this is one particular small strip. So let me divide all these things into boxes. So there will be one big box, and then in that, okay, there will be two different boxes. Okay, I mean, there will be one big box, that is big container, leave it. In that big container, I have to divide that entire big container into two things. One is uh, a small column which is of what 30% width, and a very big column which is of what 70% width. Now this 70% width will have all these charts and all the other boxes. Okay, so that is how I have to break it down. Okay, so let me do that thing right now. So for the first, let me call it as a dot wrapper. Okay, so I created one div with wrapper. Okay, now where is my CSS? Okay, I'm totally ignoring my CSS right now, so let me create my CSS. Root component dot CSS. So guys, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, style URLs, so it's a plural, right? So there will be more than one. That's the reason I'm using an array here. And root dot component dot CSS. Perfect. So dot CSS, so let's say wrapper. Okay, width will be 100 view width, height will be 100 view height, and let me give one background color. Okay, let me give something like antique white. Okay, let me check it. Cool. So yeah, there is something right now, but do you know what? Why do I have these margins? I mean, this something gap here. Okay, the point here is every HTML by default will have some gap. Okay, why? Because this body tag will take a margin of 8 pixels. If you see it here. Okay, now this will give a bad, what we call, yeah, bad view for us. So what we'll do, we'll nullify that particular margin. Let's say margin 0. Now this is like neat, right? Okay, now go to your super CSS, main CSS. Okay, which is styles.css. Okay, target your body tag. Okay, and then margin 0 tab. So m0 margin 0. So yeah, it will work fine right now. You will learn all these things, guys. Okay, whatever you're seeing here, you will learn, and whatever I'm writing here, you can stop me and make me explain. Yeah, wrapper, fine. Now I have to divide this wrapper into two things. Cool. So let me create two divs here. One is for side nav. Okay, I created one div for side nav, and next thing is for what? Uh, this is for entire thing, right? So let's say for content. So two divs for content. Okay, with class side nav and content. Okay, cool. Now what I'm gonna do is here the wrapper, I'll make it as a display grid. Okay, and then okay, I'll say grid template columns, and then I will give my first one. Okay, I'm giving it to wrapper. Okay, and I'm saying it to control its child elements. Okay, so I'm giving all the CSS properties at the wrapper. If you see here, this is the wrapper, right? And this is the wrapper class here. And here at this level, I'm asking to control all the layouts of what these two things. Okay, so let's say grid template columns. Let's say the first column will hold 25% of width, and whatever the remaining will go for the next column. Okay, so that's why I used auto here. So whatever the first column, I mean the first div will have what 25% width, and this one will have whatever the remaining width. Okay, now let's see this thing, how this thing will work. Okay, so let me open here and let me go to root component, and here I have wrapper div, and if you see here there is a one small strip. Are you seeing that strip, guys? Okay, in the middle, guys, you are there? Okay, so if you see here the side now is occupying, okay, take a look, this is the side now this is the content. So this is occupying 25% of the width, and this is occupying all the entire things. Okay, Let me show it here. Yeah, this is 25% and this is what? Auto. So 25% is very wide, I think. Okay, take a look. So what we will do, we will decrease it. Let's make it 20%. Okay, now 20% is fine. Or let's make it 15%. Even this is cool. Or what you do is, instead of doing go for 15%, let's make it what? 150 pixels. Okay, let's see how this thing is right now. Oh, 150 pixels is too wide. 100 pixels. Yeah, 100 pixels is fine. Now the entire remaining part will be occupied by your content. If you see here, take a look, site nav is taking 100 pixels and content is taking the remaining, which is nothing but what? 476 pixels. Okay, so yeah, seems like we were able to divide our UI according to the layout here. Okay, now let me give a color to the site nav. So dot site nav. Okay, background color. Okay, let me give black color and let me give height 100%, width 100%. I don't know height and width how it will work. Let's see it. Yeah, it is working fine. Okay. Yeah, though I said height 100% and height width 100%, it is taking within its borders, and these borders are defined at the parent level, and the parent is what? Your wrapper, and wrapper is controlling it, right? If you see here, I'll show it to you. Okay, here it is controlling, right? Controlling the first div with 100 pixels and next div with what? Auto width. So if you give 100%, it will take 100% in that 100 pixels. Okay, so fine, it is totally cool. Okay, then what? Okay, let's change the color. Color should be somewhere around this. Yeah, it is still somewhere around black, right? Okay, cool. Now fine, now let's try to create this particular strip. Okay, to create that particular strip, I have to go into the next auto occupying div. Okay, auto width occupying div, the width which has auto width, which is nothing but this particular content. And here what I will do is I will use a nav tag which is part of our HTML. Okay, and then what I will do is I'll go here and I will say now, let's give width 100%. Okay, so it will occupy the total width. Okay, this now will occupy the total width, 100% width of what? Its parent, and that parent is what? Content. And what is the width of content? Width of content is auto. Okay, we cannot say how much it is. Okay, it will depend upon the width of your device. Okay, so it is auto, so it is controlled at the parent level wrapper. Okay, it is controlled at this level. So yeah, width 100, let's give height of 50 pixels, and then let's give background color white. Okay, let's check it right now. Seriously. Okay, actually I'm literally all this time I zoomed my web. Okay, now what I will do is, yeah, I will go for actual measurements. Instead of 100 pixels, let me make it 250. No, not 250, 200 will be fine. Now this is actual scale, guys, and now this is perfect one, right? Yeah, and instead of 50, let me make it 75. No, 70 will be better. Cool. So now if you inspect it and if you see it right now, okay, not a single one is overflowing or crossing its boundary. Okay, so that is how your divs should be. That is how your HTML element should be restricted with CSS. Okay, a proper CSS, proper HTML is necessary to become a good React developer or good Angular developer. Okay, and the people who write proper CSS, proper HTML are very less. Okay, so yeah, so take a look. Not a single thing is what overflowing, or not a single thing is what, yeah. And if I let me say, let me minimize this. Let me restrict its width. Take a look. Okay, even now, not a single thing is what overflowing, right? Cool. Fine. So yeah, this is how I created what one layout. Now I have to fill all these things. Okay. So yeah, it's already 9:15. Yeah, I'm gonna end this session or end the demo here, guys. Now, if you have any questions or if you have anything, please use the next 10 minutes. Okay, I'll be available. And thank you for your time. Okay, cool. So guys, you can ask me any questions. Daily the class will be around 1.5 hours. Okay, sometimes it will be 1 hour, but it will not be less than 1 hour. So it will your class timing will be will be from 1 to 1.5 hour. Okay, and timings are from 7 to 8:30. Yeah, guys, I'm just a front end developer. I mean, I'm just a JavaScript developer who is writing JavaScript both on front end and on the back end. I create REST API, I create microservices on the backend with same JavaScript code using Node.js. Okay, and right now I'm working with a library called Next.js, which is also nothing but a React.js. But do you know what? On server side, let me show it to you. Next.js. Yeah, it is total React, the React framework for production. But the point here is, when you use Angular and when you use React, these are total front-end applications. It means everything will happen on the browser. Okay, so when everything is happened on the browser, when every UI layer is put on the browser, they're not that SEO friendly. SEO means when user types something in the Google, that Google should able to fetch at least important information of that particular website and and provide important links in the Google results, right? So that is what SEO, search engine optimization, search engine things. Not only Google sharing posts on the Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, okay, it should give what a perfect UI. So React and Angular, since they're client side, okay, they have their own what we call disadvantages. But server side things, no, server side things are very good for SEO. So that's the reason we are using React server side version. Okay, and React server side version is what? Next.js. Okay, so yeah, this is my thing. So right now I mean, since last September I think I'm working on Next.js. Yeah, before that I worked on Angular, and before working on Angular I worked on React again, and before that I worked on Angular.js. So I've been switching from Angular to React, React to Angular, yeah, based on the client and requirement. So this is about me, guys.
Yeah, well, I have one quick question. Like, do we do some project like at the end of the course? Do we able to do some project like will you uh, will you teach us like how to combine all this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we'll be doing some end project?
Madam, did you receive that particular document which organizers has sent to you?
Uh-huh.
Did you receive that?
Yeah, I have went. No, I didn't see the document.
Okay, please see the
Sorry
document.
about it. Okay.
Please ask them to give you that particular document. Did anyone receive that particular document, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in that document I clearly explained what are the projects which we are going to do. Is it
Yeah,
is
and
it, is it there
okay,
or
and yeah, sorry, I will go through that. And
no? No, that's okay. That's
I
okay.
just have that question like assignments and all because we'll get to learn more if we do the assignments. Yeah, I'm going through that. Yeah.
Let me show it to you. Let me show you that thing. Front end
Uh,
course content.
Yeah, I got it. I'm going through that.
Okay, if you see here, structuring a website with multiple web pages, this is a very simple thing. Creating menus, side navs, cards, creating responsive layouts, responsive and adaptive layouts for different screens. Okay, project, creating corporate business website with multiple web pages, and this is where it's just simple HTML and CSS. So here everything will come together, whatever you're seeing, whatever you're learning. Okay, some good websites. Okay, now, okay, after learning few JavaScripts, okay, after learning JavaScript, okay, project by creating custom quiz application. Okay, you see a lot of quiz applications, right, which have a lot of options, ABC, and when someone clicks on it, I mean, whenever you give interview also, before they go for actual interview, they'll ask you to go make one test, right? So we'll create one application like that. Okay, and then if you see here, okay, creating one, okay, creating one simple photo blogging application as a project. Okay, and this is part of your Angular. And as a part of your React, creating an e-commerce application system which has two different modules. One is content management system, creating a lot of pages dynamically and controlling the content from the admin panel. Okay, and payment integration. Okay, I will create one InstaMojo payment account, and then I will try to integrate that thing. And then, yeah, so if you go through this thing, every module has its own project. Okay, React.js, Angular, okay, JavaScript, and of course CSS and HTML.
And that end project would be like covering everything, right? Yeah, that's what my doubt is.
When we create Angular project, when we create this particular project, we will cover all these things. Okay, and when we create these two projects, we'll cover all these things. Same thing here. When I create this application, we'll cover all the concepts of JavaScript. Yeah, please continue.
Sure. And how long will be the course? I don't know. I didn't get that information. That's why I'm just asking.
So with the duration of 1.5 hour daily, I think it will take around 40 days. But you know what? Yeah, it may go beyond 40 days. But because sometimes things happen slowly. Yeah.
Sure.
Why? Because
Thank
the
you.
content is huge. Okay. I mean, if you see NGRX, this is totally different library, and this library will take around 5 days to teach each and everything we need. Okay. So yeah.
Sure.
Your Angular will take
Thank
about 7 days, guys, to complete your Angular. 7 to 18 daily, 1.5 hour, not 1 hour, not 17 hours. Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, guys, you can ask me a lot of questions. I mean, questions how the things are, how the things will be. Making Angular application SEO friendly. Okay, so this is also part of your course. Okay, generally make you, if your Angular applications, most of the Angular applications, since they're client side rendered, they're not SEO friendly. So you will know these concepts also. Okay.
So, if you have any questions during the class, and let's say simultaneously while you're doing the course, uh, we also do like a small application and we have some questions or doubts, would that have to be asked during the session, or can we have like a sidebar conversation after the class to help that kind of questions?
So the thing here is, imagine while I'm teaching something and you got some doubt at that particular point, you can interrupt me and you can ask me to explain that thing, or you can ask me to clear your doubt. That is what about the teaching stuff which is happening there, teaching or something which I'm doing. Okay, something which I'm implementing. Okay, so you can literally stop me on the fly and you can ask me to explain. That is one thing. What about the doubts which you had at your time of your learning, I mean at your own time of your learning, not at the class time? Okay, so for those doubts, you can pitch those doubts to me in the beginning of the class or after the end of the class.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. in the beginning of class, yeah, we'll have around 5 or 10 minutes, and of course after the end of the class we'll have around 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, so you can, those doubts, yeah, you can ask me at that time.
So just to start the Angular course itself, how much, how much time do you think the HTML and the CSS, how many day, during this 40 days course, how many days of that would take just the HTML and the CSS, and what is the actual time that we are looking at to start Angular?
I think before HTML and after HTML and CSS can be completed within 4 to 5 days. Okay, 4 days is the yeah, is the maximum, but JavaScript will take a lot of time, so JavaScript will take another 5 days. So I think from 10th or 11th day, okay, we'll see. No, even after JavaScript we'll start learning TypeScript. So JavaScript and TypeScript will take around 8 days. Okay,
Okay,
so yeah, at the 15th, okay, so at that time I think we'll go for Angular.
okay, so on average we are looking at 10 days of time for HTML and CSS, and then we'll jump into JavaScript from there on.
No, we'll complete HTML CSS in 5 days.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Thanks.
With project and with all the other stuff, we'll complete in 5 days, and then we'll move on to JavaScript. Yeah.
So in this part of course, would you also teach how do we invoke an API, REST API, or that wouldn't be part of this course?
Madam, yeah, if you can focus at this particular line, this is just simple JavaScript making HTTP request, hypertext transfer protocol request. So which involves your browser communicating with what server. So that is part of your course. That is the main core part of your course. So there is no way we are leaving that thing. Okay, and then in Angular, sending HTTP requests with HTTP client module and using RxJS. So whatever you learned in JavaScript, you'll also learn again doing in an Angular way. Okay, and then in Reactive way, sending HTTP requests with Axios. So the same part will be repeated thrice, okay, in each and every module, okay, doing in that particular modules way. Okay, so yeah, that is where servers, communicating servers will happen. So yeah, I will create a server right in front of you. Okay, since I'm a Java full stack JavaScript developer, I will create a server using Node. Okay, and I will use express.js to create REST endpoints, and then I will start communicating with those things. So yeah, I will teach those things and you will learn those things and you have to practice those things.
Got it. Thank you.
So guys, you still have around 5 minutes. You can ask me. yeah, I think each and every class will be recorded, and these people, organizers, will share the recorded classes links to you, and I'm sure you'll have access to those links. Yeah, they'll put it in Google Drive, and they'll show, and they'll share those links. Yeah. So I believe that is it, guys. Okay, so I'm ending this session. Thank you.